I need to look at doing something about my bookshelves. I need to make some room because I'm running out of room on my shelves. So that's what we're going to tackle today. Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So today I am going to be reorganizing my bookshelves to make some room. I have a problem, and I talked to my BFF Christine about my problem to get some suggestions. And I knew right away what her first suggestion was going to be, and I said, no, you can't suggest that. You've got to come up with something else. So the first suggestion I knew she was going to come up with was unhaul some books, because she is one about not clutter and just not collecting stuff that you're not using, which I totally get. But I don't want to unhaul very many books. I do want to unhaul some, and I'm working on that slowly but surely. However, I also want to keep some books and make room for some books. So we talked it over a little bit. She gave me some ideas, so we're gonna see how this goes. So this may be a one-day process, or it may be over multiple days, so you may see different shirts. I don't know yet how we're gonna do this. But the whole reason this really came about was my mom came back from England and brought me the James Herriot All Creatures Great and Small collection. But I don't have anywhere to put it on my shelf. Now, this is not the only reason, because I also, this middle section here, these 4 shelves, there are some missing because they're on my April TBR. However, as I start to read some of my TBR books that are over here, I'll give you a close-up in a minute. As I start to read some of those and want to move them into my Christian fiction read section, I don't really have anywhere to move them to. But I really like having my Christian fiction in those middle sections. I should really move you now. Okay, so you'll see, starts top. And can I do this? Okay, so down that very bottom row is not Christian fiction, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all Christian fiction. I thought about moving some of these shelves and taking off, oops, wasn't trying to break my shelves. Taking off some of the stuffies, because I have the 2 rows of stuffies. But because this shelf here is a fixed shelf, moving this doesn't really help me because of the height. It doesn't. So I am at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I move all my classics, biographies, the stuff that's not Christian fiction that's on the bottom, I would have 6 shelves of Christian fiction. So that is the plan. I plan on moving these guys that don't really, because right now my books are in alphabetical order. Starting here, they go down, right? All alphabetical. Except for these guys. These 2 sections are not alphabetical. But because they're shorter, I wanted to keep my Love Inspired together. This was fuller at one point. So I think I'm going to move those so that all my regular height books are in this section. I think that's what I'm going to do. One of my problems was these hardcovers. I have the O'Malley collection in a 3-book bind up. So I have 2 of them, right? Because there's 6 books in that series. But they're hardcover with the height. They don't fit on any other shelves. So there is one struggle that I'm going to have to figure out. I'm either going to have to get over not having them in alphabetical section or re-height some of the shelves, which we'll see. So then I have my John Grisham collection, which I'm still undecided if I'm going to keep or not. I am working my way through them. I have read all but maybe these two, I think. I think it's the Associate and the Racketeer. I know it's the Racketeer for sure. I've read them all except for those two at one point in time. But majority of these were before I even had Goodreads. So we're talking pre-2011. So that's 11 years ago. Am I interested in still keeping them? Or am I going to whittle it down to some? Because there's a couple I'm thinking I most likely would like to keep. So I think what I'm going to do, because right now this is taking up a lot of room. So I'm thinking I'm going to double stack the paperback ones. That way I still have them. I know they're there, but they're not taking up the whole shelf. And then I can move these smaller ones in here to fit with, right? So I think that's my plan. My other plan is that very bottom shelf there. This is all travel stuff. So maps, little brochure books for places we've been or want to go. And I really want to keep this stuff, but it doesn't need to be on my bookshelf. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to move this stuff into my filing cabinet because we have room in the filing cabinet, and then I can organize it by state, province, whatever, however they're labeled. So then when we say we are working on planning a road trip and we're going to go through Michigan, Ohio, and Kentucky. I don't know. We're going to the Kentucky Horse Park in my dreams right now. But then I can go to that folder, pull out the maps for those states, and it's all there. And I'm not having to pull this out and then search through every single one. So that will free up half my shelf. Then I have all my accounting textbooks from college, which are really kind of more sentimental than useful. Because they're now 20 years old. When did I graduate? I graduated from college in 2002. So yeah, and they're 20-ish years old. Because, I mean, they're probably from my first, second, third year, right? Like, so I really don't need them. They're very outdated. I never refer to them, right? So if I'm going to refer to them, or if I'm going to look something up from accounting, I'm not going to be referring to these books, right? I'm going to go to Google or a more current source. So as much as they're kind of, I paid a lot of money for them back in the day, but they've just been taking up room, I think it's time to say goodbye. I think. Then we have my yearbooks from college and high school. And again, I never refer to them. Like, I very rarely do I pull them out, flip through them and stuff. So they don't need to be on my bookshelf. So I think I'm going to move them into our memory bins. Because, so me and my husband each have like a Rubbermaid box that we call our memory bin from like our growing up years. And then we have another one that's combined since we've been married. So I think I'm going to move mine into that bin because it's got like, for example, I was in Girl Guides, so it's got all my Girl Guide badges in it. For example, just stuff that I had or I earned growing up or something like that. So I think I'm going to put the yearbooks in there because if I want to pull out and kind of remember, that's probably the bin I'm going to pull out and look at, not off my bookshelf. I don't think they need to take up space. And then, I need to ask my husband if he still wants to keep this. This is his book. I jokingly said to my best friend, well, if I could get my husband to get his books off my shelf, that would give me some room. Okay, he really had, I said, I think he has 3 or 4 books on my shelf. Well, apparently he has maybe 5 books on my shelf because this one's his. So that's not going to give me a ton of room. They're really all mine. So I think, and then here we have, again, more, this is like cards, like, that we've been given or celebrating for our anniversary, things like that, like kind of sentimental cards. So I'm going to move that into a different kind of box container, and that's going to go somewhere else. It doesn't need to be on my shelf. This is my April TBR, so I like having them separate because then I put the to be read, and then I usually set the ones here, which they're not, they're on my desk right now. The ones I've read that I still need to talk about. And then this is memory stuff that I will eventually put into scrapbooks. So I do want to keep that here. Yeah, so those are staying. So then we have photos, but all in CDs. So I need to transfer these onto an external hard drive. Like these are all digital photos, but CDs. So I need to transfer them. So I think, and only my old laptop even has a CD player to be able to even do that, or DVD player, whatever, I don't know. So I have to keep that laptop around so that I can do this. So I might as well put these with that laptop. That way they're together and I can work on it. So that's an ongoing project, doesn't need to be on my shelf. Then we have photos. These are all printed photos. I do have them all organized, so I will keep that here. And then this box has just blank cards. Postcards, things like that. So if I want to write a physical letter, this is what I use, which I do every once in a while, and I like having the options. So again, I want to keep this here somewhere. Not quite sure yet. Then this shelf is just display, so this can be whittled down a bit to make some room. Display shelf. This is TBR unread. Like this are unread books. This is unread books. So this shelf here is devotionals, Bible studies, and then sentimental books from my growing up years or books from my parents that they were given. So like, for example, this is where the Around the World in 80 Days book from my dad is here, my grandpa's book's here, my mom's book, right? This shelf is, again, kind of stuff from college, Bible reference books. It's something I need to decide whether I want to keep or not. I'm not really sure. So right now it's staying. Then this bottom shelf is all our manuals for all our appliances, things like that. Just like office supplies, labels, notepads, things like that. Like just very random. And the drawer has my tuition stuff in it. Which again, probably can go in my memory box. It probably doesn't need to be in the drawer. So, well, let's see. What program did I do? This is the one I did. So yeah, I still have my college catalog for choosing classes, things like that. I don't think that really needs to stay. So that's what we're going to work on. So that is the plan. We are going to move some stuff around, see if I can make some room. And yeah. Now, I did see a video recently by Carmen about how many books does she own, like physically own, and how many of those has she read and how many are unread. I thought that was really interesting. I really enjoyed watching her do that. So it made me, I'm like, well, this is all my books, so, it's like, I don't know, right? So I thought, while I'm rearranging this, I'm going to count my number of physical books. Last year, I went through all my owned books to see if I have them on Goodreads or not. And my goal is to get all the books I own read according to Goodreads. Because a lot of these books, especially my like Terry Blackstock, my D. Henderson, which I can't find, my D. Henderson books, I read prior to starting Goodreads in 2011. All my Robert Whitlow books, majority of my Randy Singer books. So they've been on my shelves for minimum of 12 years. I remember reading, like this one, for example, reading Cape Refuge, Cherry Blackstock, at my parents' place the summer I graduated college. So again, that's the summer of '02. And apparently I'm halfway through it. Oh, I've read book one. But according to Goodreads, I've never read it. But yet, I know I've read it. So I've gone through and marked down on my spreadsheet all the books I need to reread. So all in this section, so that I can get them recorded on Goodreads, and then I can find out if I want to keep them or get rid of them. My plan is that the only books that I will keep are either 4 or 5-star reads, because those are books I'm willing to reread, that I'm interested in rereading because I enjoyed them. I don't want to keep a 3-star book because it was middle of the road, whatever, right? So that is my goal. So that is how I came up with the 24 books that are on my rereads bingo board. Now, I think when I initially did it, there was 80 some books, I think. I don't remember. But I read, what did I say? I read 10 rereads so far this year. So I'm working on it, but it's a slow process. But I'd like to only have 4 or 5-star reads kept on here. And I'd like to be able to move some of my read books or unread books over to this section. So I've got to make room, right? So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, is clear off that bottom shelf that I know is going to go. Actually, let's tackle this John Grisham shelf. I just checked my spreadsheet for the John Grisham books. The only book I have not read is The Racketeer. The rest of them are all rereads, have been read at least once. So, I do have The Pelican Brief. Where is it? The Pelican Brief. I feel like, oh yeah, Bleachers was the other one. I'm like, I feel like there was 2 of them. On my TBR, or my rereads bingo board to read. So those are kind of the 2 that should be probably near the front. We'll see. So how can we do this? Can I just... Well, first I need to know how many I have, right? So I have 23 John Grisham books, and I have 1 unread. That's a pretty good percentage. Okay, how does that look? Well, that's not bad. Except for the fact that I'm missing 4 books. Okay, but I did say I only want to keep ones that are 4 stars, right? Is what I said. So, I know that I read some last year. Am I unhauling any John Grisham books? Okay, so The Innocent Man and The Litigators I read last year, and I rated both of these 3 stars, so that's not a 4-star, so these 2 can be unhauled. Okay, I know I read this one according to Goodreads. Okay, this one was a 4-star book. Okay, so I checked my Goodreads, and I only have 4 books by John Grisham even listed on there. And how many did I say I had? 20? I've already forgotten. 23? Yeah. And the only one that's a 4-star out of those 4 is The Whistler. The other ones I have not rated, or 3 stars, 2 stars, yeah. Yeah. But now I have this one book that's unread that doesn't fit in my John Grisham section anymore. So I'm kind of, do I stick it here? Do I stick it behind? But then I'm gonna forget it's there. I'm going to leave it there for now. And because I don't want to put it with my Christian fiction to be read. Right? So I'm going to put it there. It's on my spreadsheet. So I know I have it, right? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then this is my note stuff for when I want to write a letter. So this is going to be the good divider between the two sections. And then I moved all my Love Inspired. Okay. One shelf completed. Scrapbooking. Empty binder. Pretty much an empty binder. Goodbye. 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 I've totally blocked myself in here. Goodbye. Goodbye. $95, $96, $97, $98, $19, $99, 2000, 2001. I do not have my 2002 yearbook. Very sad. Okay, we now have an empty shelf. What am I putting on this shelf? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so I decided not to move my travel stuff for now. And then this is all scrapbooking stuff. Why can't stuff be the same height? There should be a rule that every single book should be the same height. Who's with me on that? You? Okay, so we've got biographies. We've got classics and not classics. And I've got a question. So I picked up this book at a thrift store recently. It's Anne of Ingleside. But I really don't like this cover. Surprise, surprise, the receipt is still inside. So this is the cover, right? So you can kind of see, do I even have that the right way? No. Sort of see. So is it sacrilege to get rid of the dust jacket? Like if I put it on my shelf, because I'm really tempted to, and I think I'm going to. What do you think? Okay, so I feel like I need something here. Ooh. And do I keep it this way, or do I keep it this way where I can see it? However, I have a complaint about this box set. So it is books 1 to 8, okay? Sorry, I still have the plastic on it, so reflection. But when I looked up the order of the books, I don't remember now. This is book 1, this is book 8, or this is book 1, this is book 8, I don't remember. But these books in between are not in the order. Like say this is 1, this is not 2, 3, 4, right? This isn't 2, this, like they're all over the place. Like whoever put this set together, why couldn't they put them in number order in the box? I think I'm going to leave it like that. Actually, I kind of like that. And then like right? As I said, I didn't want to keep anything that was under 3 stars, 3 stars or under. Now, I do have a couple exceptions to that rule. There is one book, this one, still has my bookmark in it, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, that I have DNF'd. However, it's kind of one of those, will I go back and finish it at some point? Or do I keep it? But now it's, oh my gosh. I didn't even DNF at a chapter break. Like right in the middle of a chapter. I was annoyed, I guess. So do I unhaul it or do I keep it? Do you own this book? Have you read it? What do you think? I don't know. I don't have an interest in reading this one again. $19.99. I have no interest in reading this one. I don't know about that one. This is where I went to school. So I may or may not. Like, this was probably 70s. 85. I don't know. What do you I don't know. I don't know. Probably not, eh? Probably not. Whereas these are all on Goodreads, most likely. Okay. Then we have Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile. I love these. I love these editions. I took the sticker off one and not off the other. When did these ones come out though? Like, is it possible? I don't have a published date of this edition. Is it possible I could get more in this edition? I don't know. I don't know. This is Perot, and this one's a Perot. I don't have a marble. Okay, so I have Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express, which is on my bingo board for this year. Emma, Great Expectations, The Importance of Being Earnest, Dove, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Anne of the Island, Anne of Ingleside. So I have this shelf, which is a little bit of a mess right now, but this is going somewhere else. My April TBR. Now there is books missing. These two. I have read these two. Okay. I'm just curious about something. Oh, it does. Okay. Okay. If I buy books, because right now these shelves are pretty stocked. Because right now, this is historical, this is suspense, this is contemporary, and contemporary, and historical. Well, this is like so mixed up, because that should be down there. Okay. I feel like I've created too much space now. Which, I mean, is not a bad thing, because it means I can buy, right? Okay, so I have this whole bottom shelf that's empty. So we'll move everything down and up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my April TBR books into here so that I have the right spacing. So I'm going to do that and then spread these out. And I know for a fact that my Henderson books need to either go at the very top or at the very bottom. And I think they're going to go at the very bottom. Every other book fits on the thing. So I have them somewhat organized now. I've got B's, because that is my first letter I have right now. I do have an A on my TBR, but right now I have B's, right? So B, so I've got Blackburn, Blackstock, Camden, Eason, Suzanne Woods Fisher, Irene Hannon, Rachel Hawk. Then we come down, and I was able to get Henderson in here. So I got Henderson, Johnson, Nelson, Orchard, Petty, Singer, Sundin, Walker, Warren, Whitmire, Whitlow. Okay, so all my W's on the bottom. But I just thought, and then these two sections would be display for favorite books right now. Right now, it's the only two hardcovers I really have that, like, other than my Henderson books. But the only two hardcovers that really stand up by themselves. So if I get a little easel, I can stand up kind of my two favorites, like my most recent favorites, or some, like, it just something I want to display, right? But I'm going to move you back up. But I was just thinking, instead of doing B across this way, what if I did this shelf B down, like do my alphabet this way? Because then it would bring up some of my S's, some of my W's. They're always going to be at the very bottom because their last names start with the end of the alphabet, right? So if we go this up and down instead, then I'll have some W's up here, right? Yes, I would have some W's up here. I was counting how many shelves there were. So that is what I'm going to do now. I don't know what happened. But by doing it this way, there's my Sarah Sundin books. So it's still not in the prime because the prime area is these ones when I'm sitting, right? Like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I don't know how I ended up with an empty one. I'm used to this. This is going to annoy me. So, and do it all over again. Okay, so I have finished the middle display. What I've decided to do is I gotta read some Hannon books so that because I gotta finish reading this series, this Hope Harbor series. What I've done is I've got these two hardcover displays. Then I've got these two as displays, and I just put books behind that I'm going to be getting rid of for now because it kind of holds it standing up. So that is what I'm going to do. This is my April TBR, so kind of books coming up. So this is what I've read so far that I need to talk about, and then they can go on these shelves. So here are my bookshelves. Okay, we've got, you can kind of see. No, I never did move the drawers because they were fine. Okay, so there's an overview. On the very top shelf, we have just a bunch of Coca-Cola Tie Bears. This has not changed. Then we have just some display items. So this is when we went to Orlando last September with some friends. We went to Medieval Times as one of our nights. This is from when Andrew and I went to the Coca-Cola factory. Not factory. What's it called? The World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta, Georgia. That's from, I think it was 2010 we went there. And that light's reflecting bad. I'm sorry. And then we just have a few miscellaneous Coke stuff that I don't really care that much about. So we've kept it. Okay. As I said, this black box is photos that are organized. Then this is from when Andrew and I went to Disney World 2013. And my April TBR, this is what I have yet to read as of filming this video, plus the one on my Kindle. Okay, then we come down a shelf. Now you're getting a sneak peek, sort of. I don't know if it'll be a sneak peek or not, because depending if this video goes up before or after. So we have my John Grisham collection, which I've talked about. So let's count. Now we're going to get how many books do I own and how many of these have I read. And I have read all 20 of these ones at one point in time. Okay. Then, so that was 20. Then these are the 2 that I've already read in April. So I will be talking about those in my mid-month wrap-up. This is all my note cards for when I want to write a letter or something. And then we have, so behind here, we have that one John Grisham book that I didn't know what to do with. That is my unread one. So I have one unread on this shelf. Then I have my Love Inspired. So I have 14. So I have biographies. I have read all these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have read them all. Then we have my James Herriot collection, which I have not read any of these because the package hasn't even been opened. Then I have classics. I have read Anne of Green Gables. I haven't read these copies, but I have read the whole series of Anne of Green Gables. And I have read Murder on the Orient Express once before. So that is 3 on this shelf out of the 9 that I have read. Now, I started, as I mentioned, I started Huckleberry Finn. I didn't finish it. So does this count as read or unread? I'm going to put it in the read column because I've attempted to read it. The next shelf is Bibles. So these are all sentimental Bibles. They were either gifted on the passing of a loved one, were our parents' copies, or were copies we had as kids. So just, yeah. Then that very bottom shelf is the travel stuff that I never ended up moving, and scrapbook stuff and cards we want to keep. So then I have my Christian fiction, which is these middle rows. I have read everything in this section. If I have a bind up of 2 books in one, is this counted as 1 book or is this counted as 2 books? I'm going to count it as 1, but just a question. 8, 9. Oh, that's funny. I have 99 books on this shelf. And I am very proud to say that all 99 of those books have been read at some point in time. Maybe not according to Goodreads, but I know they have been read. Okay, now we get into the unread. So this shelf and this shelf are my, I was going to say Christian fiction unread, but this one book is not Christian fiction. But it is all unread. So there is oh well, these 2 books aren't Christian fiction either. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Okay, trick question. I have this copy of Animal Farm and 1984 by George Orwell. So is 2 books in 1. I have read Animal Farm. I have not read 1984. Is this book read or unread? Maybe not. So this is Animal Farm. This is 1984. So it's going to be counted as unread. But I technically could say I read it, right? 39. So we come down to kind of the miscellaneous categories. Sentimental books, random books, devotionals, Bible studies. Again, kind of some random books. A lot of these are reference type books. that I'm not going to read cover to cover, ever. I'm thinking of not counting these at all. I mean, some of them I will, because, like, for example, I've read this one. I haven't read this version, but I've read this. I have read all these at once. Like, these are ones from my childhood. Treasures from Grandma, The Mysterious Camper, Help, I'm Drowning, Elizabeth Gale and the Mystery at the Johnson Farm, and would you believe it? Like, these are all ones that I got gifted to me as a kid for different things, and I have read them, and I remember reading them. Whereas we have, these are kind of my husband's books. Moses' Favorite Travel Jokes, Great Clean Jokes, Jolly Jokes for the Young at Heart. Should I make him move his 3 books onto his shelf? Oh. 4. Bathroom Book of Canadian History. Oh, nope. 5. More Holy Humor. Do you think he likes jokes? He does. So yeah. I'm not going to count these ones. And I'm not counting the ones that are behind because I am unhauling them. So I'm not going to count the ones that are holding up these guys for display right now because they will be coming off my shelf once I have display holders. Okay. So let's see. How many books do I own in the kind of big... Oh! I didn't count my April TBR books at all, did I? Nope, I didn't. So I have 8 books on my April TBR. And I have read... I'm counting the one I'm reading as read, okay? So I've read 3. And that leaves me 5 to be read yet. Now, depending when this video comes out, this number may change, right? So I have 207 physical books that fit into fiction or biographies. So that does not include any of my random categories. Okay? Out of those 207 books, 50 of them are unread. That means 24% of my collection is unread. That's pretty good, I think. I don't even want to look at my Kindle numbers because I can just imagine what that would be. But out of my 207 books, 160 of them are Christian fiction. That is 77% of my collection is Christian fiction. That doesn't surprise me at all because that's really what I read. So I have a few biographies, I have a few classics, and I have my John Grisham. The rest is Christian fiction. So that doesn't surprise me. So yeah, this was fun and it was good to know. And I know what I want to look for going forward to kind of fix these shelves. And yeah, so that is my bookshelf tour. It's been an all-day video. But yeah, so my new bookshelves. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I had fun just kind of cleaning it up, knowing what I have, and yeah. So I want to thank you, and if you like this kind of content, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel, and let's chat in the comments below. Whatever you want to chat about, I will respond. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.